We're recording. That's it. That's all it is. So the media today. What did you say? The media is the
enemy of the people.
Enemy of the people. Media. Go ahead.
The media shows us it's a peaceful protest when they're literally taking over 7 city blocks in Seattle with people that are putting up barricades, who have weapons, who are not peaceful. They also have they're checking IDs for people coming in.
Right, and they're closing, and they're making what's the word? Extortioning.
Oh, they're doing extortion on the businesses that are on those blocks. So that's a mob. Okay, so if you have a business on those blocks, you're not allowed in unless you pay them.
Right.
So they have no money.
And those businesses chose to have this happen to them.
Right. Not. Okay.
So what's the governor doing for those businesses if they don't want to? Nobody's talking about that.
The governor is talking about it's a peaceful protest. Let them be. It's like back in the 60s with a peaceful protest. It's like the summer of love. Okay. It's garbage. She's literally trying to go against Trump because she's saying that Trump doesn't know what he's talking about. They're peaceful protesting. No, they're not. There is rapes in there. There is there's fighting. You can see some people behind a fence even. This one video that I found.
Well, let's go ahead and look at the video with who is it? Right here on Hannity.
Okay.
You see it?
Yeah, it came into focus just now. Go ahead.
All right. Hey guys, this is our third video, or well, this is my third video. So if anything's a little messed up, I apologize. I'm learning. I'm getting better. That video yesterday, I apologize for it being small and you couldn't hear. There's things that I'm learning. So this is Sean Hannity, and it says the chaos in Seattle. It's supposed to be a peaceful zone, right?
The governor says the zone is peaceful.
Was it this one, or was it a different one?
Well, this one right here. But wait, go back up. Dude, just watch that one. Okay. So on this one, just for instance, it shows that the governor is saying that it's peaceful, and the chief of police is saying no, it's not. Is it loading up?
It's loading. It might be a little bit slow. Sorry, guys.
It's okay. Slow internet today.
My internet has been really slow the last couple days, and I don't know why. So hold on, gotta close the pop-ups. So this is gonna be a longer video, guys, so I'm gonna have to like skip through a little bit because there's actually a couple of things that I want to share on this. Where did it go? What are you doing? I lost it. Why did it do that? There we go. All right.
One thing has remained the same.
So I need to...
The sheer, utter incompetence.
Because Hannity talks about a couple of different things here. So I just need to get to where... and I had it, but I can't see the tabs very well up top. Now I
Trump to save them, the guy that they hate. But he couldn't save even the most vulnerable in our society.
I had it all ready to go.
It shook this country rightly to its core. We witnessed many peaceful protests across the country. Oh, and it gets probably as bad as it can get. Listen to what this congressional candidate, this genius had to say. Take a look.
A week ago, they had snipers on the roof. What the hell you got snipers on the roof for in a peaceful march? Even if people loot, so what? Burn it to the ground, if that's what it's going to take to fix our nation. I know people want me to say that, but I'm just saying.
These politicians have run their states and their own.
First off,
she's running. for a political position in Arizona. And she's saying burn it to the ground. And that's what they are all pushing.
Yeah.
And they're
You want your city burnt to the ground? Or do you want your government to step in and stop it because they're supposed to be protecting the people? But it's more important. But yet when people were protesting to go back to work and no looting was happening and no vandalism was happening and no burning of buildings was happening.
They call it tagging. When they're doing all that spray painting, what do you call it, graffiti? They call it tagging. Okay,
Well, none of that was happening.
No buildings were on fire. Nobody was being hurt. Nobody was getting run over. Nobody was getting shot. You didn't have to tell people to go home after, like, say 5 or 6 o'clock. And that was completely peaceful. But because it was Trump supporters wanting to go back to work and open up our businesses, they called that what? Chaos, and we're trying to spread the disease.
You're trying to kill grandma.
You're trying to kill grandma. Bad. But then the peaceful protesters come out, which, let's just get it straight. There is not one American that we know that thinks that anything that happened to George Floyd was right. Nobody. And that should have been the unity. That should have been the unity, because everybody was on the same side of that. That is a bad cop, and he needs to be arrested and go to prison and be charged. That should have been the unity right there.
Right, but then the media has to go into, so hold on, so now let's go into, let me share my screen again, and let's see if I can fast forward to the part where he started talking about Seattle.
Almost every major city was on the rise. 6 city blocks in one of Seattle, a bizarre, critical situation. Exodus out of almost all these cities. And once again, for decades, they never their states and their own cities.
The ground, if that's what it's going to take to fix our nation. I know people want you to say that, but I'm just saying.
These politicians have run their states and their own cities into the ground. Even before the riots, violent crime in almost every major city was on the rise. Their educational systems have been failing for decades. They never do a thing to fix it. And now, by the way, and their taxes are higher than ever. And you see a mass exodus out of almost all these cities. And once again, a big liberal city has completely now lost control of what is a critical situation. If you think watching, police precincts burn, look what's going on in Seattle. It is so bad, a bizarre group of these loosely affiliated anarchists and other losers have literally now taken over 6 city blocks in one of Seattle's most prominent neighborhoods. Dozens of homes now under siege without any police protection. A police precinct is now under anarchist control. Governor Inslee, what are you doing? Nothing up to this point. And by the way, the president has been begging all of these big cities. I will send in help, but you have to ask for it. They steadfastly refuse to do what is right, protect their citizens, protect property, protect the innocent. In fact, one of the first things these far-left radicals actually did, shockingly, they actually built a border wall. Wow, I guess walls work. Is that what the message is here? Armed vigilantes are now setting up checkpoints into and out of the so-called autonomous zone. Buildings inside the zone are getting vandalized. Business owners, there are reports that they're being extorted. Fights are breaking out. People are being assaulted, and an entire police precinct totally abandoned and taken over by the anarchists. 6 blocks of pure anarchy inside the great United States of America. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't think I ever imagined we'd be seeing all of this in this great country of ours. I didn't think I'd see if it was happening. They didn't do anything to protect innocent people either. ABC News.
Okay. Now, if we go to a different news station like CNN or whatever one, they're peacefully protesting. They're not spray painting buildings. They're just singing Kumbaya.
Right. They're, like I said, the mayor, if you can find the video with the mayor actually talking. She doesn't want nothing to do with it because it has to do with Trump. They are spreading hate on purpose. It's the division. They want us divided by culture, by sex, by religion, by race. They want us divided because divided we fall in the United States of America. United we stand strong, divided we fall. Every time that the Democrats are losing, they literally throw out the race card every time. And if you haven't seen it, you are not awake. You just got it. There's how many people in that block, right? And there's thousands of people in Seattle that are not agreeing with this. A few 100,000,
Right.
a few hundred or 1,000 kids, basically. Okay.
I saw an article where they've been fighting to save their precinct for a week, getting water bottles thrown at them, people walking by just throwing stuff at them, and they're standing there. They're not tear gassing anybody, and then all of a sudden they have to abandon their precinct. So what was that week for?
Which they shouldn't have abandoned their precinct. Okay, they shouldn't have. But because you have media and people who want to cause division with their cell phones, okay, if you look at the past, the way that the media portrayed the Bundy Ranch, the Ruby Ridge. I mean, if you show how the media portrays them, peaceful, real protesters versus the anarchists and the chaos.
Right. After watching the Waco show on Netflix, I have a totally different take on the Waco episode. And I was what was that, 93?
93, yeah. You're just a kid. You're like 10.
93?
Yeah.
I was 11 years old. But what I remember about that was like, because it was all over the media, just like everything else, when it's all a big deal, it's all over the media. I remember, and there was no Facebook or social media at that time when I'm 11.
No, it just looked like Waco people were bad people.
They were bad people.
Yep, they made them like they were bad people, and the FBI came in. And they shot at the FBI. It was so bad what they did. It was so
It's ridiculous. If you haven't watched the Waco, the Netflix series,
it doesn't even have to be on Netflix. You can literally look it up these days now on YouTube. You know, back in those days, we had the media to tell us a story back in those days.
Could you imagine if the people in the building at Waco, the what are they called? I'm having
the Branch Davidians.
Could you imagine if Facebook would have been available or videos would have been available?
That would have been a completely different thing.
That's the only thing I keep thinking about. Like, too bad these people couldn't go on to but they probably would have shut off their Wi-Fi. But they would have. But what would they have? But they would have. They would have probably some kind of cell phone service, I'm assuming. So then, therefore,
before that, you're right. Like at least before they got shut down.
But if they even had some kind of cell phone service, would they have had to shut down everybody's cell phone tower in that vicinity? And then what? Right? You know what I mean? Like, you just start thinking about what those people would have been able to actually share.
Correct.
Because in all actuality, am I for a person to have multiple wives? No. But, I mean, those people were going there voluntarily. Was there crimes that David Koresh committed? Actually, not really, because he did it legally.
Right.
Because when he was married, yes, he was having intercourse with young kids, but he married those people. But he married those people legally, and they made it to us say like it was totally like. Thing is, he did everything legal, so it was the laws that let him do that. And then they're going after him for something totally crazy. And what they went after him for wasn't even what they ended up showing on the news, because they had to make him look bad.
Same with Ruby Ridge, because they are allowed to kill people and make it look like it was okay to kill people. They're the ones who started the fire. Children died. Whether they were doing bad or good, children died.
Right.
They started the fire. The Branch Davidian people did not start the fire.
I mean, if you're gonna shove tanks into a building knowing that there's a bunch of kids in there, what do you think that's gonna do to the structural integrity? I'm no engineer by far.
Right.
But I'm not stupid. If something comes through this wall and it's not like a little tiny hole like the size of a baseball.
Right. And you got to understand, okay, so they did that with Waco, and that's what we hear, right? We hear those stories. They did it with Ruby Ridge. They set him up. The CIA set him up. And a mama died, and a daughter has no mama, okay? And that guy was from Iowa, went to Oregon. It's the sad, that's a
To
sad.
go live peacefully. And what he did is Ruby Ridge is they gave him a court date, and it was a lie. The court date that they gave, that's why he missed his court date, and that's why they were there, because of his criminal offense and all this other stuff.
Well, what's so messed up about his criminal offense is that they took advantage of him because they were trying to infiltrate a gun club, and he just happened to, go to the meetings, just have somebody to talk to, and he did know how to build guns. An undercover CIA man asked him to build him a gun, and they had no money because they were kind of like outcasts, because some little towns in the mountains, they just, people that are by themselves, they just look down on you. So they actually took advantage of his goodness, and he was broke and he had to feed his family, and an undercover CIA agent asked him to build him a gun. That's his crime. They set him up to be a criminal.
Right, and that one was in '92, because then Waco happened like a year or 6 months, shortly after Ruby Ridge.
It's all so messed up because we didn't have, like you said, we didn't have Facebook and social media and everybody jumping on the bandwagon. We heard the 5 o'clock news, the 10 o'clock news, or breaking news. Look what's going on in Waco. Look at how the FBI is so amazing. And the CIA, look what they're doing to save you from these bad people. They are the ones who started the narrative.
But it was the FBI and their talking points, and then the media rolled with it.
Well, as you and I were talking earlier before the show, we actually watched how Chris Cuomo was talking, excuse me, to the older guy on the Bundy Ranch, how he was condescending and talking to him versus the way that they're talking about these actual anarchists. Is that the word? Anarchists.
Here, let's share the video with what the mayor's saying about the gallon, or the Chaz.
Oh, the Chaz.
The Chaz.
I don't have to tell you about the situation on the ground in your city, but in terms of how it looks to the rest of the country and the president teeing it up as basically ineptitude, the inability to control your own streets, is that fair criticism?
So I know it will shock you that the president is perhaps not giving an accurate or truthful picture. We've got 4 blocks in Seattle that you just saw pictures of that is more like a block party atmosphere. It's not an armed takeover. It's not a military junta. We will make sure that we can restore this, but we have block parties and the like in this part of Seattle all the time. It's known for that.
A block party.
They are armed.
A block party.
They are armed.
But it doesn't matter. What about those? If you can't get in there and there's businesses that are open.
Because there is such a thing as you are allowed to have like peaceful protest. Okay, even if it is disruptive for whatever. Okay, there's a lot of amendments we have in our Constitution. But she is lying.
Right.
And Cuomo is not calling her out. She is lying. It is not a peaceful protest. They took over 7 city blocks. They took out the police precinct, and they are armed, and they are checking you, frisking you to see if you have weapons coming through their walls. I guess walls work, like Kennedy said, because they got barriers up. Okay, now you saw, was that Cuomo?
That was Cuomo, the mayor. And I didn't play all of it.
Okay, now go. You have that video where you have Cuomo talking to the old man trying to defend his property. The way that Cuomo's talking to him.
I think I lost it somehow. I don't know how. Oh wait, no. Yes, no, I don't. But I bring it up. Give me just 1 second.
Yeah. So here's a man defending his property that he has leased from the government, BLM land, which is not Black Lives Matter. BLM actually, before Black Lives Matter came, stood for Bureau of Land Management. And of all my time growing up, okay, the Bureau of Land Management is land that's governed by the governor, and these cattle are grazing, and he's done this for what, 20 years? He leased the government land. But Harry Reid, a Democrat, comes in and decides he wants to take away the land from these ranchers so that he can go get the uranium or whatever else minerals was on that ground. Because now we're talking, here we go with we need to pocket the money and all this inside. There's so much crazy stuff that goes on. Anyway.
Okay, I think I found it. Okay, so the way that, now pay attention, people, the way that people talk about, okay, now whether you think it's right or wrong on what people are doing, the media is not being biased about certain things, is what our point is trying to portray here today. So here, here's Chris Cuomo with Clive Bundy.
Sometimes things are.
And I didn't say it so to offend them. I was trying to ask a question, and I maybe I said it wrong. I'm sorry if I said it wrong. But the question was a good question, and it come from my heart, not done to prejudice. And you guys try to make everybody in the world think I'm prejudiced.
No,
I'm not prejudiced
Mr. Bundy, we bring you on to speak your piece. We bring you on to give you the opportunity to apologize for the offense. I don't think you're helping yourself by making a joke about taking your boot off so you can't stick your foot in your mouth. But I think you have to recognize that when you use words...
That's what you said. That's what you said yesterday.
I didn't talk to you yesterday.
That's what you said yesterday.
What I'm saying to you right now...
But that's what the media said, is I stuck my foot in my mouth.
Listen, I don't know what you did. I'm saying when you use the word Negro, when you use some of the phrases you just said, they're offensive. It doesn't matter how you mean them. They're just not supposed to be things that you use because they're just inherently offensive. So I think we should move past the language.
Now let me tell you something. That's what I'm talking about. Reverend Martin Luther King wanted us to get over that type of stuff. And I said yesterday, I said it's time for a discussion about this. We need to get over this. I don't care what your race is, we need to get over this prejudice stuff so that those words are not offensive. They're not offensive to me. You can say them to me and I wouldn't be offended.
Say what words to you, Mr. Bundy? They don't apply to you. That's the whole point.
Whatever.
Hey, you see the condescending of the way he was talking to Mr. Bundy? An old rancher, not a politician, an old rancher trying to stand for his rights as an American citizen. And he was actually had the huevos to stand against the government and go, no, this is my land, my right. And Chris Cuomo.
And then they turn it to something that he said. I mean, the guy is outraged about what's going. Maybe he said a word. Okay, that's not what we're here with. That's not what they were there talking about. They weren't talking about race. They weren't talking about nothing. He said he had a conversation. Call them Negroes. Is that the right word to use? Not necessarily, but also if you are an older population.
Okay, let's put it this way. Let's say that it was you or me. I wouldn't have been saying any N-words, but I sure might have been using some F-bombs.
Right.
You're going to talk about that too? If I'm standing out there defending my land, my rights and the government decides to come take it away, sorry, anybody out here watching this, listening to this, are you just going to stand there while the government is kicking you off of your property or your house because they want to?
And just so everybody is clear, the way, because with that video, what it brought up, but that was the only video that we could find of how somebody was being portrayed. You know, those people that were on that land, they had, you know, they portrayed them as a mob. Well, what's in Seattle right now?
A real mob. And they're like, oh, it's just all love and flowers.
Okay, so
No.
just so we're all clear, the way that George Floyd died was not okay.
Nope.
At all, whatsoever. None.
Nope. Nope.
But what's happening now
They use
is that the media has agendas. Right now, the media has agenda after agenda after agenda after agenda after agenda, and people are feeding into it.
because it's a psyop about emotions. And they know how to do it, okay? You and I know about Operation Mockingbird. We've studied it enough. So what do you got? You got TV, which stands for television. Notice that they call the shows programming. And here's your next program, or welcome to this program, programming, okay? So you got the Mockingbird media, which if you actually look at a montage of the media, and when we say mainstream media, they're all owned by the same entity. So when people are like, oh, you got that off of Fox News. Do we watch Fox News? No, we might get a clip or something off of there, but you know, we're watching CNN too to see the other side, right? Because they're all in the same, they're all the same bird of a feather. So we get, it's so funny when people fight on Facebook or Twitter or whatever. Oh, you got that off of Fox News. Are you afraid of the truth? Because you notice how they cut people off on CNN if they tell the truth? You'll get fired.
Right.
And people are afraid to be fired off of those good paying jobs. Okay? So
and what was that bill that what's that bill that Bill Clinton passed? The gosh, I never
in 1994, with the criminals or what?
No, the media bills. Bill Clinton had a media bill.
Okay. That's something I have to look up and refresh my memory. All I'm trying, you know, you'd have to look that up.
I just looked it up the other day, and I can't remember how I found, and I can't remember.
Bill Clinton's bill on the media. Is that?
Oh yeah, telecommunications law.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's been going on long before Bill Clinton.
But that was in 1993. So then, therefore, in my opinion, it made Operation Mockingbird go out of the media, but they're still doing it. They're still doing Operation Mockingbird.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I remember that. Okay. So they're just calling it another name, okay? Because you're making it sound, okay, that bill made it look like they got rid of Operation Mockingbird. Is that what you're saying?
Well, just something to sweep it under the rug. You know what I mean? So, like,
call it another name and they vamped it up.
Because that's what they're good at doing.
Because
they're good at sweeping stuff underneath the rug.
Right. Just like, you know that the word, you know that thing that comes across the TV that says like the more you know, or you know those little stars that come across the TV says something about like forgetting about it. That all came out of the Clinton administration because of the Monica Lewinsky stuff. The media was actually doing commercials to try to make it like, let's let that go. I'm trying to think of what which one that was, because I don't know how I just went blank on that. I'd have to move on. MoveOn.org. The Move On. Let's move on. That MoveOn.org.
Okay.
The Move On came out of the Clinton administration. The media did that for him. I am not joking. Let's move on. Let's move on from a different subject. While he is lying every day. Every day. So what the point of this is that the media is an additional arm of the Democratic Party.
Well, there's only six big corporations that have control over the media.
All of the media.
And they're all liberals.
It's Disney, Fox. Okay. And when people say, it makes me laugh when people say, oh, you got that off of Fox News. Do they understand that Fox News is owned by liberals?
Right. But there's only two shows that we watch on Fox.
Because that's
out of all the reporters.
Right. Because everybody else is against Trump. Because they're paid to do, that's their job. Right?
And why is the media has put this in people's head? Why is Trump a racist? Because he wants to build a wall? He wants to build a wall to close up all the holes so people aren't coming in illegally.
But people, they don't understand that part. Illegals. They don't understand they don't understand how deep the sex trafficking goes.
If you build a wall and they can't get in tiny holes, or not tiny holes, but if they can't get in through holes in the fence
or tunnels,
then they're going to have to come in to certain places. And if you are good and you don't intend any harm, then you'll come in, then you can come in through the regulated places that you're supposed to be coming in. He's not saying he doesn't want anybody in. So where did the race come from? So they've drilled it into people's minds that he's racist because he wants to build a wall. And then, like I said a couple of days ago, Biden called Trump xenophobic for wanting to shut down the travel from China into the United States. Now, not all China travel was banned, because there was United States people in China that needed to come home.
Citizens.
But 2 weeks after Biden said it on it was one of the Democrat stages that he said he called them as xenophobic because they wanted to get here. And then 2 weeks later he praised them for closing the borders down to China.
And then they wanted to say he didn't do it soon enough.
Yeah.
Literally right after that, he didn't do it soon enough. Okay. He is married to an immigrant. Okay.
Whether you like her or not. Whether you like her or not.
The only reason they don't like her is because the media tells you not to like her. That woman is smart, brilliant, beautiful. Any other time in history, if he was a Democrat, let's just put it this way. If he was a Democrat, she would be over every single magazine cover and everybody would be flaunting all over her. That is the truth. Because she is beautiful. She is smart. She speaks 5 languages. I don't speak 2. And I mean, come on, my mom is pure-blooded Portuguese. I can't even speak another language. Okay, I can get pieces and bits of it, right? Your husband works with Mexican Americans, and they can all speak a little bit of Spanish here and there. They learn their little words being around people. But she speaks 5 fluent languages. She has an accent. So does my mother. So does Danielle's grandmother. Okay?
Yeah.
I mean, they're legal immigrants. Big difference. Another thing. The one that gets me, I think, that gets me. He was best friends with Oprah. He was best friends with Jackson and what's his name? Al Sharpton. That just gets me. They all swooned over him and loved him, and all the rappers, they all sing songs about Trump.
Until he decided to run for president and run as a Republican, because he did not want to have to bow down to what they wanted.
Because he didn't go with their agenda. He's not part of their game. He actually came in to fix America and help America. They all have an agenda to destroy America. They're not Americans. They're not. And Barack Obama even said that you want to be like Trump. Because all of the Democrats and Republicans, and we know We know we are not for all the Republicans. They are rhinos.
Right.
That are just, they're the same as the Democrats. You know, when we always talk about you are the same bird, you're just a right wing or a left wing, but you're still the same bird, okay? The Democrats and the Republicans that have been in Congress and in DC in this bubble of the elites for decades all loved Trump until he ran on his own money, and they can't pay for him to be on their side. And their side is very corrupt.
Or blackmailing, because they didn't give him any money during his presidential run. So therefore he can't be blackmailed either.
Cannot be blackmailed. And that is, he knows everything about them because he hung out with all of them. They always came to his office asking for money. All through all those years.
Yeah.
But because he wants America first. America first. So we're talking about right now, I mean, the subject is racism and black people are oppressed. Anybody remember? Look at all the poor people that are white. Okay? Not every white person is white privileged. There's kids in Kentucky that live in the hills that are poor. There are children who are in foster homes. There are children on food stamps that are white, black, red, yellow. It doesn't matter what color you are. Not everybody is rich.
Not everybody is bad. Not everybody is good. Not all cops are bad. Not all the majority of all cops are good. I mean, I used to be afraid of cops. I used to be in the system because I was breaking the law.
Yeah, I was gonna say, whose fault was it? The cops?
If I wasn't breaking the law, I mean, I wouldn't have been in the system. But we got raided. Part of it was a little bit of corruption on the cop side, but it doesn't matter.
No, because
I'm 12 years out of the system.
No, yeah, it's fine. But here's the thing.
My son's girlfriend, her stepdad's a cop.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't matter. And you know cops, okay? And we all grew up with cops, around cops. I mean, you know what I mean? We all know, right? And yes, we have seen bad cops. And yes, there is a system that needs to be changed because of the
But we're starting to go off of our topic, so we're gonna have to bring that in on a different one. Because otherwise we're gonna start.
We're going to a different topic. I'm sorry. Okay.
Oh, I know, no. I don't want to, because I just don't want to keep them too long. Then that way people. Yeah.
That's fine. All right. So back to the media. We were trying to explain that the media is not for the people. The media are all elites. They have lots of money, and they are told what to do. I wish I would have had you bring up that one. It's actually funny. I promise you. And I don't know. I can't find it right now. I won't be able to find it. So there is a guy interviewing a reporter. He has his mask off. He's talking. He's asking him, does the media tell you what to do or what to say? Because he was talking about the montage of the Mockingbird media that they all over and over say the same thing if you do the montage. Okay. And he was like, no, they don't tell me what to say. And then it was time for him to go on air, and he puts on his mask and he goes, oh, they don't tell you what to say, but they tell you what to do. And the guy looked at him and said, he was not allowed to go on air without that mask on. And he was laughing. The guy that was, filming him with his phone, he was laughing because he was laughing at him. And then they finally actually moved to a different location because that guy wasn't going to let it go. He was like, I'm going to show you what the media is doing behind the scenes. We've seen them caught. That's what's cool about cameras these days.
Right.
We've seen them caught putting on their masks right before they go, like say at the press conference. Right? At the press conference, they're all sitting there talking. They're, not 6 feet. They're not 6 feet. They're not social distancing. All of a sudden the cameras come on. They're 3 seats apart from each other. They got their masks on. Yeah. Right? It's all for optics. And it's all to their.
Because if you're on one side, you can go find all kinds of evidence to prove what you're saying. I'm on the other side, and I can go find all kinds of evidence to prove what I'm saying. But here's the thing. You can also, when you're awake enough to understand and to see, then you can tell and you can hear it in the voices, in the interviews, how legit it is.
The other thing is that when you're awake, you can't, it's almost like once you're awake, you can't unsee it. You literally cannot unsee it when you're awake. So what they're counting on is before COVID happened, what they're counting on is the normal, average, everyday American is very busy with their family life. You get up, you go to work, you're in your car, you're listening to your music, you do your job, you're thinking about what am I going to cook for my family when I get home. You don't have time to dig, right? So you turn on the TV because you want to listen to the weather while you're cooking dinner. And in the background, the droning of the same, almost, what's that called? Hypnotism.
Almost,
right?
yeah, like
right?
yeah. And controversial word would be mind controlled.
It's true. Okay.
Well,
They
yeah,
say
but
the
it's
same thing. If you listen to the same thing over and over and over and over, don't you normally believe it?
right. It's got to be the truth.
Right. It's got to be the truth. Why would the media lie to us? Let me give you for example. With all of this controversy going on with the Brennan, all this the basement stuff during the impeachment, when they were all under oath downstairs in the basement, they told the truth. The minute they came out of that basement, because they were under oath, the minute they came out of that basement, they could get up on CNN and lie through their teeth and not be held accountable because they're not under oath. So
and they have immunity. And they have immunity.
In Congress. In Congress, they have immunity. Like do you know the fight that a couple of people have on Facebook? Like, show me Hillary lied, or show me that, blah blah. But she was in 7 hours of what's that called?
A hearing.
A hearing. She wasn't under oath.
No.
They were in Congress. You're allowed to say whatever you want. So on TV, Adam Schiff can say whatever he wants. He can make up stories. But when they're in the basement and when they're on CNN, they just sit there and lie. And if you say
right, but the thing is that they 1 second they're under oath, and in these documents there's not enough evidence, or I don't see anything, or it's unclear, or all kinds of wording that's in there under oath. But then 2 seconds when they're done, they close those doors and there's the press standing right there, and they're like, oh my God, there's just so much. There's so much evidence, like, oh, we can't even go through it all.
Right, exactly that. But downstairs, under oath, there is no evidence, and because they're under oath, because they don't want to go to prison.
Right.
And that's exactly right. Exactly how you just said it. Exactly right. Oh, the evidence. Oh, we saw so much evidence of the Russian collusion delusion. It's all a lie. And the more you tell a lie, these people, like I said, you're too busy with your kids. Mommy, I'm hungry. Daddy, coming in the door, dinner got to be on the table.
Right, so you're just listening to it, and but it's on the news every single day. Because that's me. I mean, not anymore.
No, once COVID happened, you got a little break, and so you were digging. I mean, you were already digging, which I'm way proud of you. But now that you've been 3 months out of work, really digging, you're like, what in the heck? You're like, wow. Okay, but you were already coming out of it anyway because you saw some stuff that you just caught, But some people, they can't see it. And the media is, the Mockingbird media, literally the enemy of the people.
They are.
are.
If you really think about it, just take 5 seconds. Why are Americans divided right now? Who caused you, not who caused you, what got in here to divide us? It's not because of President Trump.
Nope, because guess what? If the media loved President Trump, then all you people would love President Trump.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, seriously, think about it. No, seriously, think about it. If the media
I'm dead serious. They have been on him 24/7 since day one. Negative, negative, negative. And when President Trump calls out fake news, he isn't joking. They used to love him before he became a nominee. They loved him. The magazines loved him. The media loved him. Oprah loved him. You can
we'll go a couple more minutes, because then we'll have to figure out, because I don't want these to be too terribly long for people that they don't know us yet. They don't know us yet.
Okay, so we really should.
With all that being said, President Trump has made a promise to drain the swamp.
And that scared him.
It's not going to happen overnight.
No.
It cannot happen overnight, which is why here we are going into his 4th year into the election. And we are getting closer every day. We really are. Every single day. The biggest one is General Flynn.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. But that's a whole nother subject too, baby.
That's a whole other subject. But here's why the media wants everybody to hate Trump, because if General Flynn, this is going to be the last thing, and then when election day comes and President Trump wins,
oh Lord,
and General Flynn has that gag order off, because here's what they're doing with General Flynn, real quick, and then because this will be a different story. The longer they keep the gag order on General Flynn, then General Flynn cannot talk before the election day. Because if General Flynn talks before the election day, the saying goes, General Flynn knows where the bodies are. Not literally.
Right.
He knows who did what.
And they have been trying to get him to go to prison for nothing all this time, and that's also the media. But what I was going to say before we're talking about the media, 4 years of 24/7 bashing our president for 4 years. When they loved him before he came down that escalator, they loved him so much that he was on almost every interview, almost every magazine, and they loved him. So like I said, including rappers. So it is but there's a lot of black people who still love him and they stand up for him. You just don't see them out there. You have to go search for them. We know who they are.
And that's like the video that I showed yesterday. Because if you go out there and you try to unite with a red hat that says "Make America Great Again," they don't want you there. And so the black people, they feel like they're traitors if they come out and say that they're for President Trump. I feel like I am a racist from what people have said to me and what has happened to me. You've seen, if this is the first video you watched, go watch the other 2. That story is explained.
Right. So anyway, long story short, we know that the media is the enemy of the people, and Donald J. Trump, our president with some big huevos, is standing for us. He is the only thing between us and New World Order. He is literally standing for us.
For your constitutional rights. And it's no joke.
That you might want to go read if you aren't up on your constitutional rights, because a lot of people in America didn't learn this in school. which is pretty sad that we are just now realizing all this. That it took all this. We didn't get taught.
Not me. Not me.
Isn't that crazy?
I don't recall. I mean, I'm sure we read some stuff and I probably wasn't into it, but by that time I was already done with school, so.
Just saying, can you imagine all the stuff that our kids have not learned, and they are indoctrinated with this stuff in the universities that are all Democrats, and this did not just happen when Trump came along.
No, he's been in for 3 years. Biden and Pelosi and all this. And for you, if anybody that's watching is awake, in order to get Pelosi out, the House has to become Republican. That's the only way, because the only other way is for the House to impeach Pelosi. And right now, her little friends aren't going to impeach her.
They're afraid of her. It's all about money. It's all about money. She's a big, big fundraiser because she knows all the filthy rich people. So she gets on the phone and gets money. When normal, everyday Americans realize that we don't have to be this poor or struggling. We're not poor. You know what I'm saying? Middle America does not have to be struggling this much. Doesn't have to pay this many taxes. It all goes to them just to fund their junk and their mansions and their whatever.
Yep.
When they finally wake up and find out what Trump is fighting for, they're done. And the Democrat Party knows that they're done, and that's why they're fighting so hard right now. And the media is an arm of the Democratic Party. It always has been, and that's what our whole point was.
Yep. So if you have any questions about anything that we've talked about today, all you got to do is go look it up. Please comment. Please subscribe. Have a great day. Bye.